Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. I'm Hra. So now I'm going to solve some more problems on house rent allowance. The previous videos I have explained you in detail regarding the computation of income from salary. The basic components of computing income from salary are salary, allowances, perquisites, profitingly of salary. So first I have explained you what are the items that may come under the head is salary. So what are the components and how to compute the basic pay when graded pay scale is given. We have solved the problems, nearly 4 or 5 problems I have explained you. Then allowances. I have explained you what is the meaning of the term allowance, what is the classification of allowance, and what are the provisions regarding entertainment allowance and house rent allowance. The last video I have solved the problems on EA, entertainment allowance, and HRA. 2 more problems on HRA, then we'll solve other miscellaneous allowances. After that, we'll go to the next topic, that is perquisite. So I told you, if you have not watched the earlier videos, please follow the rhythm. Don't join in between. If you join in between, you cannot be able to understand. All the provisions, all the videos are interlinked. So if you have watched the first video, second video, third video, then only you can be able to understand now. Otherwise, if you have skipped those videos, directly if you join in the middle, you will not be able to understand. That is the main feature of the subject Income Tax 1. So if you have first time joined my channel, I suggest you could go to the playlist of my channel. Select the subject Income Tax 1 for the assessment year 2021 and select the topic income from salary. Watch the topic from beginning, then you can be able to understand. So before starting the problem, you must have a printout of the problems which I have given in the link under my description. So take a printout and keep it ready before watching the problem. Now fifth problem on HRA. See the problem. Mr. Yusuf Khan is an employee of a public sector unit in Hyderabad. So he draws a monthly salary of 4,800, house rent allowance 1,500, dearness allowance 1,000. He is entitled to 2% commission on sales. The sales target achieved by him is rupees 5 lakh. The house rent paid by him is rupees 1,000 per month. Dearness allowance and commission enters for retirement benefit. Compute the amount of HRA to be included in salary income and gross income from salary. The 2 questions are asked. The first question, how much is the taxable HRA? Taxable HRA means actual HRA received minus exempted HRA under section 10 subsection 13A. So after deducting exempted HRA, we'll get the taxable HRA. So first we have to calculate taxable HRA. Secondly, we have to calculate gross income from salary. Okay, so first of all, I'll find out whether exemption is available to Mr. Yusuf Khan or not. The main condition is if the assessee is living in a rented house and rent is paid by the assessee, then only exemption under section 10 subsection 13A will be allowed. So here in our problem, Yusuf Khan is staying in a rented house and he is paying the rent. So HRA exemption will be allowed. We are not concerned whether he is a government employee or non-government employee for claiming exemption. HRA exemption. See here, the assessee Muhammad Yusuf Khan is paying the rent and stays in Hyderabad, other town. For giving the exemption, all the employees are divided into 2 categories. Employees staying in 4 metropolitan cities: Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata and Chennai. These are the 4 metropolitan cities and rest of India. So we have divided. So here in our problem, he is living in Hyderabad. It falls in other town. So HRA exemption is allowed under section 1013A to the least of the following 3 amounts. Already in the previous problem also we have seen this. The 3 provisions are least of the 3. First one, actual HRA received. In our problem, actual HRA received is 1,500 per month into 12, 18,000. Second, rent paid minus 10% of salary. These are the provisions given by Income Tax Act. You have to remember the provisions. So rent paid minus 10% of salary. Rent paid is given in the problem 1,100 per month. So 1,100 into 12, you will get 13,200 minus 10% of salary. Now remember, salary means basic pay only. DA will be included if it enters for retirement benefit. and commission if it is based on fixed percentage on turnover achieved. So this meaning of the term salary you must remember, because the salary meaning will change from one allowance to another allowance. In the previous entertainment allowance EA we have seen salary means only basic, nothing else. But for calculating HRA, salary, basic salary plus DA if it enters for retirement benefit, plus commission if it is based on fixed percentage on turnover. In our problem, DA enters for retirement benefit and commission is given as a percentage on sales. So we will include basic pay, DA as well as commission here in working note. Salary is equal to basic plus DA entering for retirement benefit plus commission. So how much is the basic salary? 4,800 into 12, 57,600. And DA is 1,000 per month into 12, 12,000. And commission is 2% on sales target achieved. Sales achieved 5 lakh. 2% of 5 lakh, 10,000. So if you add up the three amounts, the total salary is 79,600. Now calculate 10% of 79,600, 7,960. So 13,200 minus 7,960, 5,240. Second. Third one, 40% of salary for other town. If metro cities are there, 50%, other towns 40%. So 40% of salary, 40% of 79,600, 31,840. In these three, the least is exempted. Which is the least one? 5,240 is the least among these three. That is the exempted amount under section 1013A. So here exempted HRA under section 1013A is 5,240. Now taxable HRA, it is asking in the problem what is the proportion of taxable HRA. So actual HRA received minus exempted HRA, you will get taxable HRA. So actual HRA received 18,000 minus exempted HRA 5,240. So taxable HRA is 12,760. This is the taxable portion or unexempted portion HRA. First part completed. Second part, it is asking you to calculate the gross salary. Gross salary means the total of all the 5 elements: salary, allowances, perquisites, profit in lieu of salary. The total of these 4 elements will be called gross salary. Now I am taking one by one. Computation of gross income from salary. Salary, basic. Basic salary 4,800 per month into 12, 57,600. Commission. Commission will also come under the head salary. So 2% of 5 lakh, 10,000. Next comes allowances. Under allowances, DA. DA 1,000 per month into 12, 12,000. HRA, unexempted amount or taxable amount, 12,760. Perquisites we don't have in this problem. Profit in lieu of salary we don't have. The total of gross salary is 92,360. That's it. This is the end of problem number 5. Now, sixth one, the last and final problem on HRA. Mr. Reddy, working in Madras city, received the following emoluments during the financial year 1920. Basic salary 65,000 per month. DL 21,000 per month. HRA 13,000 per month. He took accommodation. Accommodation means house, building. He took accommodation in Madras city on a monthly rent of 12,000, but not yet occupied the house and staying in father-in-law's house in the same street. Calculate the taxable portion of HRA. Income Tax Act says 2 conditions are there for getting HRA exemption under section 1013A. The 2 conditions are, first of all, he should take the property, he should occupy the property on rent. Secondly, he must pay the rent. Simply he has taken the property on rent but still not occupied. He is still staying in his father-in-law's house without paying any rent. Income Tax Act says no exemption will be allowed. Exemption will be allowed if you occupy the house and pay the rent. You have not yet occupied the house, no HRA exemption will be allowed. Actual HRA received is fully taxable. How much actual HRA received? 13,000 per month. 13,000 per month into 12, 1,53,000, 56,000. The taxable amount of HRA is 1,56,000. This is the explanation of this problem. So the SSC Mr. Reddy has taken a house on rent, but he has not occupied the house and stays in his father-in-law's house without paying any rent. Hence HRA exemption 1013A will not be allowed. Actual HRA received 13,000 per month into 12, 1,56,000 is fully taxable. That's all. So this is the end of problem number 6. 6 problems on HRA we have completed. Next problem we'll solve on other miscellaneous allowances. So we have completed the problems on calculating the HRA and EA exemptions, deductions. Now I'm going to discuss you about the other allowances. What are the provisions under the Income Tax Act about the other allowances? Now see carefully. Other allowances, exemption of allowances linked with actual expenditure incurred under section 1014(1). That means there are some allowances on which exemption is linked with the expenditure. That means employee is getting the allowance. Out of that allowance, he is making some expenditure. So how much is exempted and how much is taxable? Now we are going to discuss in this topic. Now, exemption of allowances linked with actual expenditure. So unexempted amount is taxable. The rule is the unexempted amount is taxable. So how to find out unexempted amount? Actual allowance received minus exempted allowance will get the taxable allowance in this way. So if details of actual amount spent is not given, then we make the assumption that the employee has spent the entire amount and the amount received is fully exempted. For a particular purpose, the employer has given the expenditure. Then we have to see how much expenditure he has spent and how much he has not spent. Simple example I'll give you: dress allowance. Suppose the employer has given dress allowance to the employee. That means 5,000 rupees dress allowance he has given. Now if the details are given that the employee has spent 4,000 rupees on dress, the remaining 1,000 rupees he has not spent, that 1,000 rupees will be taxed. So how much is taxable depends on how much expenditure he has incurred. The expenditure he has incurred is exempted. The expenditure which he has not incurred, the allowance which he has not incurred as expenditure, that amount will be taxable. So if details are not given, then we assume that the employee has spent the entire amount, so fully exempted. Example, the employer has given 5,000 rupees as dress allowance to the employee and nothing is given regarding how much amount he has spent. Nothing is given, so we'll make the assumption that the employee has spent the entire amount and nothing is left, so no taxable, completely exempted. Now some of such allowances are uniform allowance, helper allowance, daily allowance, conveyance allowance, transfer allowance, academic allowance. These are some of the examples of those expenses, those allowances. The exemption depends on the expenditure incurred. The unspent amount is taxable. The spent amount is exempted. If nothing is given, we assume that the total allowance is spent and no tax at all. Now next one is exemption of allowance not linked with actual expenditure. Some allowances are there, it is not linked with the actual expenditure, unlike the first one. Here the expenditure is not linked with the allowance received. Exemption is given without any precondition and for each allowance maximum exemption limit is given by the Act. Income Tax Act has given the maximum exemption limit for those allowances which are not linked with the expenditure. Example of such allowances are: first one, children education allowance. Specific provision is given under the Income Tax Act regarding children education allowance given by the employer to the employee. Least of the following two amount is exempted, remaining is taxed. The least of the two. Example I'll give you. Suppose the employer has given 1,000 rupees per month for 3 children. 1,000 rupees per month for 3 children each. So 3,000 rupees per month he is getting. So per annum he will get 36,000. Monthly 3,000 rupees children education allowance employee is getting monthly. Monthly 3,000, so per annum 36,000. Income Tax Act says least of the two will be exempted, actual allowance received or rupees 100 per month per child. Per month 100 rupees. 100 rupees per month means per annum 1200. For one child 1200. For two children 2400. For two children 2400. So here actual allowance 36,000, whereas limit is 2400, whichever is least. So here I am getting 36,000 as actual allowance received. The employer is giving 1,000 rupees per month per child for 3 children. 3,000. So per month 3,000, per annum 36,000. Whereas Income Tax Act has given the limit 100 rupees per month per child for a maximum of 2 children, not more than 2 children. Only 2 children. So for one child 100 rupees per month into 12, 1200. For 2 children 1200 into 2, 2400. The least of these two, 2400. This 2400 is exempted. How much allowance he has received? 36,000. So 36,000 minus 2400, the remaining balance is taxable. Children education allowance, taxable. Second one, children hostel allowance. Sometimes the employer will give children hostel allowance to the employees. Children hostel allowance. In that case, the least of the following two will be allowed as deduction. Actual allowance received or rupees 300 per month per child for a maximum of 2 children. Again, I will take the same example. Suppose the employer pays 1,000 rupees per month per child as hostel allowance. As hostel allowance for 3 children. So per month 3,000. So per annum 36,000 rupees he is getting. For 3 children he is getting. The employer is paying the allowance for 3 children. Any number of children the employer can give. The employer is giving 36,000. Whereas Income Tax Act says 300 rupees per month. 300 rupees per month per child. So 300 into 12, 3,600. 3,600 per child for a maximum of 2 children. So 3,600 plus 3,600, 7,200. The maximum limit is 7,200. So actual allowance received 36,000. The maximum limit given by the Income Tax Act is 7,200. The least of these two is exempted. Least is 7,200. So taxable amount 36,000 minus 7,200. Whatever is the remaining amount, that is taxable children hostel allowance. These provisions you have to remember while doing the problem. Immediately you should think. When employer pays children education allowance, least of the following two will be exempted. The first one, actual allowance received. Second, rupees 100 per month per child for a maximum of 2 children. Children hostel allowance, the least of the following two will be allowed as exemption. First, actual allowance received. Second, rupees 300 per month per child for a maximum of 2 children. Next one is truck driver allowance. Sometimes employer will give truck driver allowance. In that case, the least of the following two will be allowed as deduction. First one, 70% of allowance received. 70% of allowance received or fixed 10,000 per month. Whichever is least will be allowed as exemption. This is for truck driver allowance. Now, next one is transport allowance. Transport allowance for traveling between the residence and the place of work. Traveling allowance is given by the employer for meeting the expenditure for going from the residence to the place of work. If the SSC is normal person, fully taxable. If the SSC is physically handicapped, then 3,200 per month. 3,200 per month. For any other allowance, if there is no provision in the Act about the exemption, then it shall be taken as taxable allowance. So Income Tax Act says if the employer give any other allowance not mentioned so far, in that case if the Act has not given any exemption, then actual allowance received is fully taxable. So these are the provisions regarding other allowances other than EA and HRA. These are the provisions we have to apply while doing the problems. So next video I'm going to do the problems on this miscellaneous other allowances. That will be the end of allowances part. After that we'll start the perquisites. So I'm not feeling well, that's why I'm stopping now. So if you're satisfied with my lecture, give a like to the video, share it in your group, give your comments and subscribe my channel if you have not yet subscribed. See you again in the next video on the problems of other allowances. Now we'll do the problems on other allowances. So see the first problem. First problem, Mr. Sharma is working in a limited company in Guntur. His salary particulars per month are basic 12,000, these are per month, DA 3,000 per month, CCA, City Compensatory Allowance 2,000 per month, Transport Allowance 1,500. Calculate the taxable amount of Transport Allowance. All these are per month. Payments are given per month. Basic, DA, CCA, Transport Allowance. It is asking you to calculate the taxable amount of Transport Allowance. Specific provision is given by the Income Tax Act regarding Transport Allowance. Regarding Transport Allowance, if the person is normal person, then Transport Allowance is fully taxable. No exemption will be given. So here it is given, calculate taxable amount of Transport Allowance. So the SSC Mr. Sharma is a normal person. So actual amount allowance received is fully taxable. Taxable amount is 1,500 per month into 12. It comes to 18,000. So 18,000 rupees actual amount of transport allowance received is fully taxable. No exemption will be given because he is a normal person. Now second problem. Calculate taxable portion of Mr. Karim transport allowance in the following situation. So taxable portion of transport allowance we have to find out. SSC is a physically handicapped person and secondly SSC is a normal person. The basic pay 7,500 per month, bonus 5,000 per annum, transport allowance 2,500 per month, actual amount spent is 1,000 per month. This is the complete information given. Now it is asking you to calculate the taxable portion of transport allowance if he is physically handicapped person and if he is a normal person. The SSC Mr. Karim gets transport allowance 2,500 per month, actual allowance spent is 1,000. Now, SSC is a physically handicapped person. SSC is a physically, we have to assume that SSC is a physically handicapped. In this case, the taxable portion of transport allowance is nil. That means entire amount of transport allowance received is exempted from tax. The taxable portion of transport allowance will be zero, nil. It means the actual allowance received is fully exempted. Whatever actual amount received as transport allowance is fully exempted if the SSC is a physically handicapped person. Secondly, SSC is a normal person. If the SSC is a normal person, actual allowance received is fully taxable. The amount spent should be ignored. So in this case, the actual allowance received 30,000. How we got 30,000? 2,500 per month into 12 is fully taxable. The actual amount spent should not be considered. In the problem it is given actual amount spent 1,000 per month. This should not be considered according to provisions of Income Tax Act. The allowance received is fully taxable. 30,000 rupees is taxable if he is a normal person. If he is physically handicapped, nothing is taxable, the entire amount is exempted. Now see the third problem. Sri Rao is working as a lecturer in Lucknow. His salary particulars are as under. Basic pay 25,500 per month. DA 14,000 per month. Conveyance allowance 4,000. Actual amount spent is 3,200. Specific provision is given regarding conveyance allowance by the Income Tax Act. So according to the provisions of Income Tax Act, the unspent amount is taxable. So he has received 4,000 rupees as conveyance allowance. Out of that 3,200 he has spent. So remaining 800 rupees unspent is fully taxable. This is the provision regarding conveyance allowance. Children education allowance 2,000 per annum per child for 3 children. Per child 2,000 per annum. For how many children? 3 children. the SSC is getting for 3 children. So 2000, 2000, 2000. Totally 6,000 rupees per annum he got for 3 children. Out of 6,000, exemption will be allowed 100 rupees per month per child, or 1200 rupees per annum per child for a maximum of 2 children only. So 1200 plus 1200, 2400 is exempted. So out of 6,000 rupees received, 2400 is exempted, remaining is taxable for children education allowance. And children, for 3 children, calculate the exemption to be allowed for allowances. How much exemption to be allowed for allowances regarding conveyance allowance and children education allowance, and compute the gross income from salary. Gross income from salary means the total of salary, allowances, perquisites, profit in lieu of salary. Now conveyance allowance, the unspent amount is taxable. The rule is unspent amount is taxable. So conveyance allowance received 4,000, actual amount spent 3,200. So 800 rupees is the unspent amount that is taxable. This is the provision regarding conveyance. Now children education allowance, the least of the following 2 is exempted, remaining is taxable. Least of the 2. Which are the 2? The actual allowance received. The SSC got 2,000 rupees per annum per child for 3 children. The 2,000 into 3, 6,000 rupees allowance he got. Income Tax Act says 100 rupees per month per child, or 1200 rupees per annum per child for 2 children only, not 3 children. Employer may give for any number of children, but Income Tax Act has given the restriction for only 2 children. So 1200 per annum, 100 rupees per month per child for a maximum of 2 children, or 1200 per annum into 2, 2400. The least of these 2 is exempted. So 2400 is exempted. So actual allowance received is 6,000, exempted 2,400. So taxable amount is 3,600. We have calculated the taxable portion of allowances. Now computation of gross income from salary. Computation of gross income from salary. Gross basic salary. 25,500 per month into 12, 3,06,000. Allowances DA 14,000 per month into 12. Remember, dearness allowance is fully taxable always. So 14,000 into 12, 1,68,000. Conveyance allowance, taxable conveyance allowance you have calculated here, 800 rupees. And taxable education, children education allowance is 3,600. Take the total, 4,78,400 is a gross income from salary. This is the end of third problem. Now fourth problem. Sri Rajesh is working in a limited company in Surat. His salary particulars are as follows. Basic pay 12,000 rupees per month and DA 2,600 rupees per month. Children education allowance to his daughter 1,500 per month. Employer pays only for one child, for daughter 1,500 rupees per month. Hostel allowance to his son 5,000 rupees per month. Actual amount spent 2,000 per month. Calculate gross income from salary. So first of all, we'll calculate the taxable portion of children education allowance and children hostel allowance. Then we can calculate gross income from salary. See, children education allowance. The least of the following 2 is exempted. First one, actual allowance received. The SSC got 1,500 rupees per month for his daughter. So 1,500 per month into 12, 18,000 rupees children education allowance he got. Fixed is 100 rupees per month per child. So 100 rupees into 12 is 1,200 rupees. So per annum for one child, 1,200 rupees is exempted only for one child, because he is getting the allowance for only one child, not for 2. Previous problem, 3 children he was getting. But Income Tax Act says only 2 child exemption will be allowed. Here the SSC got only for one child. So exemption fixed amount will also be for one child. So 1,200. The least of these 2 is 1,200 is exempted. Actual allowance received 18,000, exempted 1,200. So 16,800 rupees the taxable portion of children education allowance. Now children hostel allowance. The least of the following two is exempted. Actual allowance received. So he got hostel allowance 5,000 rupees per month for his son, for only one son. So 5,000 into 12, 60,000 rupees he actually received. Out of which fixed amount seeding has been given 300 rupees per month per child for a maximum of 2 children. But he is getting the allowance only for one child. The fixed amount is also taken for one child. So 300 per month into 12, 3,600. 3,600. So 60,000 minus 3,600, 56,400 is the taxable portion of hostel allowance. Now we can compute the gross income from salary. Computation of gross income from salary, basic pay, 12,000 per month into 12, 1,44,000. And allowances, DA, dearness allowance. Now DA is 2,600 per month into 12, 31,200. And children education allowance, we have calculated 16,800. And children hostel allowance taxable portion 56,400. The total income 2,48,400. That's it. This is the gross income from salary. Now last and final problem, problem number 5. See the fifth problem. From the following particulars of income of Mr. Mahesh, who is working in a multinational corporation in Bangalore, compute gross income from salary. Details of pay per month in rupees. Basic 10,000 rupees per month. DA 8,000 rupees per month. Traveling allowance 3,000 rupees per month. 35% spent. So he got traveling allowance of 3,000 rupees per month. So 3,000 into 12, 36,000 rupees he got as traveling allowance. Out of which 35% he has spent. So Income Tax Act says for traveling allowance, unspent amount is taxable. So out of 36,000, 35% is exempted, remaining is taxed. And academic allowance per annum 15,000, actual amount spent 8,000. So Income Tax Act says for academic allowance, unspent amount is taxed. So he received 15,000 per annum. Out of 15,000 he has spent 8,000. So 8,000 is exempted. The remaining 15,000 minus 8,000, 7,000 rupees is taxed. Now we have to compute the gross income from salary. So traveling allowance unspent amount is taxable. That is the rule. So an allowance received 36,000, spent 35%, 12,600 spent. So 23,400 is unspent amount tax. Then academic allowance unspent amount is taxable. That is the rule. Allowance received 15,000, amount spent is 8,000. 7,000 is taxable allowance. Now we can compute gross income from salary. Salary basic pay 10,000 into 12, 1,20,000. Allowances DA 8,000 into 12, fully taxable 96,000. Traveling allowance unspent amount is taxable 23,400. Academic allowance unspent amount is taxable 7,000 is taxable. No perquisite, no profit in lieu of salary. Gross income from salary is 2,46,400. 2,46,400. That is the gross income from salary. So totally 5 problems we have solved on other allowances. This is the end of the part allowances I have completed. I have explained you in detail regarding the provision of different allowances, EA, HRA, then other miscellaneous allowances. Next video I am going to start the next topic, perquisites. So if you are satisfied with my explanation, if you think that it's beneficial, it is increasing your knowledge, so give a like to the video. Share it in your friend circle so that more students can watch the video and enhance the knowledge. And give your comments regarding these lectures. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe my channel. We'll continue the next topic, perquisite, in the next video.